You both have, again, you talked about coming to the Philippines and living in the Philippines, but is there a culture of entrepreneurship, of innovation in this country? I mean, the political system, the way I would look at it is it's much more, we grow up in a school system, in a political system that's more feudal based than it is. In here, even in Indonesia, there's a saying, the nail that stands up gets the hammer. People aren't necessarily encouraged to stand up out of the crowd. How do you deal with that? Well, first, do you see it that way? Let me not put words in your mouth.
Right. So I think there are seeds of a culture here.
Okay.
It's starting up. It started up, 2 years ago. We started weekly. Before that, there were set of entrepreneurs, Chica, and a bunch of others that I'm sure people know. So the seed is here. There is that community, right? The question is, how do you grow it? And the best thing is just to look at role models, right? So you look at Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley took 50 years to emerge, and you start to think of what are things that prompted that type of growth in Silicon Valley to become an innovation center. Then you go and look at Israel. And Israel took 30 years to build an entrepreneurial culture. I'm from Israel, so
wow.
And now it's maybe the second biggest hub. And then go and look at maybe Chile. So Chile has been pushing a lot. They have the Startup Chile program. They invite entrepreneurs to come in. They have 6 months program, $50,000 non-dilutive grant. And they're building their culture. That took them 4 or 5 years to get up. So the time span of doing that is getting shorter.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. Like companies used to take 10 years to build. Now we have Instagram become a $1 billion company in a span of of months, not years, right?
Is that the technology or?
I think it's technology. It's a dissemination of information. I mean, and here is a prime place to do it because everybody reads English. The entrepreneurs here they're not.
Everybody uses Facebook. That is the biggest excitement.
33 million Filipinos are on Facebook.
It's amazing. Is every internet user on Facebook here?
Almost 94% of our internet. Something like that.
I mean, traveling in Indonesia, I've seen people, they don't have a government ID and they have a Facebook ID. That's it. The fact that they're addressable, is incredible. But for entrepreneurs, they can get on Quora, they can get through Facebook and actually connect to people in the valley. They can, they know about, things like Y Combinator, 500 startups. So it's just getting, the connectivity is much better, so the cycle is faster.
I have a lot of questions coming in from social media. Do you want to answer?
Sure.
Ryan Macasero at Ryan Macasero says, do you think there can be a Silicon Valley in the Philippines someday?
Silicon Valley is going to be Silicon Valley. You can't replicate Silicon Valley, and you shouldn't replicate. Why do you want to build Silicon Valley? You need to build what's right for this place. If you just take a company from Silicon Valley and try to pop it here, the chances are it's like a plant.
Yes.
When you change the soil and change the water, it's probably going to die.
Spoken by a man who grew up in 2 cultures, right? yes, agree.
I mean, I've been to a few different cultures, and the most successful cultures, the ecosystem I'm seeing around the world, are not copying Silicon Valley. They're doing their own thing. If you look at Israel, they're very successful. Yeah. And another one that most people don't know about is the China ecosystem.
Yeah.
China is become this behemoth of this internet giant, and nobody has ever heard of them. And they're not following the exact Silicon Valley model. They have this crazy, a hyper competition model, and that's producing some of the best startups. And that's okay. You don't have to be Silicon Valley to be great. People will find their own way. So that would be my advice.
In Israel, did you look at, were they related to security, the startups? I mean, again, I'll only think because in counterterrorism, Israel is huge in security things.
We have, a whole range of innovation in Israel. Obviously, because of the military, there's a group of companies that focus on security, but we have, eBay recently acquired a company that was in the social media space to turn it into their entire social innovation is actually centered in Tel Aviv now. So it's very, very broad.
A question for both of you from at Randall Dan /RD. What's the priority? I guess this is to Ron. What's the priority next to land in the 4 economic forces in the Philippines? Labor, capital, entrepreneurial skills, land.
Ooh.
It's looks like a political science question. No.
Which one is the biggest opportunity?
What's the priority, I guess? What do you think is the priority out of these four forces in the Philippines?
I don't know that I'm well equipped to answer that question.
Okay.
I know that, I can say that the opportunity in tech here is big. Labor is interesting, but if you look at the Philippines, right, and the Philippine labor market, right, we're selling commodity product, and we're competing on price.
Yes.
Right. So
we produce in a peso economy. Right?
Exactly, but
yeah.
The call centers, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's just a price arbitrage. That's one. It's not going to last for a long term, and
Yes.
two, it's not providing the type of value that you want to build into the country.
Yes.
We want to build products, innovation, technology, things that you can mark up, not mark down.
Correct.
And if you just think about, Era Valencia from Ideaspace has this great slide on, the top 6 companies or startups that are big companies now, Facebook, Google, their entire, their income is equivalent to the GDP of the Philippines. So being able to produce one successful tech company out of the Philippines can boost the GDP of this country by 10, 15, 20%.
Do you see
that's
any?
a huge opportunity.
Yeah, that's huge. Do you see any in the time you've been here so far?
We're seeing seeds. Yeah, there are some interesting companies coming out of here. There's people probably the best known one right now is Caliber. It's in Y Combinator. Really,
Right.
Really interesting concept, can be replicated globally.
Paul was just here the other day. Yes.
Yeah.
Comment from Mary Ann Celestino at Jellybean PH. Good we look here first rather than have innovators get disillusioned and look abroad. And she tagged it Ideaspace. You were at Ideaspace last Friday.
Yes.
What impression did you get of the entrepreneurs there?
Startup aside, I have to say, the enthusiasm from the community is just absolutely amazing. Like, you just look at the energy from the crowd, and it's like, wow, this is not what I expected. I didn't have any expectation from this place. And then just looking at all the people, the excitement, and the young people looking into this space, and a lot of them are actually college dropouts. There's one guy, he's doing like a Blackboard system, like a education system. I think he's just cut out of high school. He's apparently pretty
Yes.
famous here. I love that guy. That guy is like, this is the type of people that I want to see in this place. So I was very happy to see all the energy and all the young folks getting into startups.
What you're working on right now, the World Startup Report, I mean, I know you just sold a company to LinkedIn, but how do you make money at that?
I don't.
Are you even, again, this is what struck me when we were talking the other day, the altruism. I mean, how big a role does altruism play in entrepreneurship, and where is the line between giving away and making money?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of the very fortunate people in the world, like to have started companies at a very young age and being semi-successful, and now I have this incredible network of friends all over the world. I'm very, very fortunate. It's okay for me to take a year off my life and just take some time off and just go and help the world. Yes, I'm spending a lot of money. Surprisingly, I didn't realize how expensive this trip was going to be. But it's okay. Like, relatively, it's not going to make or break my bank. I can afford to do this. But the experience that come out of this, the amount of people I can help by doing a project like this,
Yes.
it's something that nobody else can do. And even if they had the money, so money is besides the issue. This is actually the small point. Being able to help people, because some of these people that I'm helping right now are going to become the most successful people in the future, and maybe they'll give me a job one day. No, I honestly do believe that I'm helping the world, helping a lot of these folks. And
You're giving your reports away for free. You're just posting them online, right? You have your India. He has his India and China reports up now.
The China one was done randomly about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I put it online at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I went to sleep. Mostly for my friends. I sent it to my friends. By the time I woke up at 8 in the morning, it was the most popular slide on the internet that day. I didn't know what happened, and I just realized, wow, people really care about this. So fast forward a year and a half, I wrote the India Startup Reports, and within just 2 weeks of the release, the India Startup Report has surpassed China in terms of popularity.
Interesting.
It has gotten over, I think, 120,000 views just in those a few days. And it just shows that people really care about this, but there's not a lot of information outside.
Yeah.
Especially in the language that we mostly read this in. So, I'm trying to help the world by changing that, democratize information for the people who needs it.
Ron, you've seen technology change society? I mean, what are the biggest changes you've seen, and how do you imagine it moving forward when you're looking at these new companies that you're going to help form?
Oh, wow.
I know it's a huge question. I know. Because you came in, actually, it seemed like when you formed TalkBox, you were still at the tail end with large companies, correct? And then you've slowly moved out of that. Can you explain that to us?
And so, I can maybe briefly say why we started TalkBox. TalkBox started actually as a consumer-facing web video communication platform.
Yeah.
And the idea was really to help people from everywhere, all over the world, have an easier time connecting with each other.
Right.
And we thought that, through that, a lot of other things can happen, right? The tutoring, psychological consulting, like a whole host of things are enabled by that. And it is a great example for the way that technology technology is an enabler.
Yes.
Right? So, Facebook allows us to communicate and stay in touch, right? And the thing that I would like to see, right? I've traveled quite a lot. I've been to about 50 countries.
Yes.
And I like to see democratization.
Yes.
And not just in a political forum, but in a resource, opportunity, education form. Seeing people who are maybe not as close to the center be able to have the same form, the same opportunity as other people. And I think that we're starting to see that happen, right? When they can have a computer or a mobile device that's sub $100.
Yes.
Now they have access to, online courses from Udacity that are being taught at Stanford. And information has straight pipeline from Stanford all the way to, a village in, in Mindanao.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And the other way around, right? Now, a startup in San Francisco can procure labor from that same village over this, over that same channel. So you increase the ability to earn. You increase the type of services that these people can consume. You start making the world a little bit more equal, and I like that.